Hey, my fellow property managers, Mark Cunningham at Grace Management. I think it was back in May that we did a video just like this, and it was on the topic of what to do when you can't rent a property and the owner won't drop the rent. Well, here we are in October, and that is just compounded, and we expect to see it compound further. So in this little video, I want to do something a little bit different. In just a moment, I'm going to pause, and we're going to play for you on this video an actual video that we sent out to all of our owner clients with this question. Answering this question. Here's why your property, Mr. Owner Client, won't rent. And here's what you need to do to get the property rented. And we walk through 5 different things and we explain to our owner clients because I want you to hear what we're saying to our owner clients. I can sit here and talk to you all day long, but what I'm telling you is what we are telling our owner clients, and I want you to see exactly, and this is that video, if you want to see it live, will be on our website, rentgrace.com. You can go over there to watch the same thing. But I'm going to play right now for you, and it's about a 8-9 minute video where I explain to our owner clients, to prospective investors in our market, in the Denver market, what's going on in the Denver market, how they should be repricing their properties, what they should be thinking. So at the end of that video, don't turn it off, because at the end of that, we'll come back and then I'll explain to you, my fellow property managers, what I think you should be doing to help your owners as a next action item step for you. Here we go. Hi, I'm Mark Cunningham with Grace Property Management here in Denver, Colorado. We get calls almost every day from real estate investors and individuals who are thinking of renting out their house, and they're asking us the question of, gosh, I can't rent out my property. I've been trying to rent it myself. I've been trying to sell it and I can't. So they call us to see if we can help them in that process. And that's certainly the business we're in. But our conversation typically turns to something like this, because they say, I can't understand why my property is not renting right now. So let me share with you kind of a 5-step process that we do internally, and that whether you work with us as your property management company or not, you need to make sure you're doing to help rent those hard to rent properties. So step 1 is you need to understand the market. So let me just give you a little bit of data and some statistics about what is happening right now in the Denver rental market. I pulled this data just yesterday to show you some numbers, some real numbers on rental rates in the Denver market. So according to apartmentlist.com, the year-over-year asking rates for Denver properties, all of the Denver properties for rent, from single families to condos, townhomes to high rises, everything together is down 1%. Now that's year over year. You say, well, that's not a big change. Well, that's one data point. Let me share with you a few others. According to realtor.com, the Denver market average asking rate is down 3%, a little bit more. Now remember, that's the asking rent. That means how much you, if you're a real estate investor with a vacant home, how much you're currently asking. You haven't rented it for 1% less or 3% less. You're just asking 1% less or 3% less. So you haven't rented it yet, which is an important distinction to make. According to Zillow, when they look at their single family properties that are listed for rent right now on their site, they see a 0% change. The asking rent as compared to last year is the same. But if you drill down beyond single family homes on Zillow and you look at apartments and condos and townhomes, I kid you not, a 10% asking rate reduction as compared to where it was 1 year ago. That's massive. If you've got a 1-bedroom condo, you know exactly what I'm talking about if it's vacant right now, because you're having difficulty in drawing demand from prospective tenants. We're not seeing that demand. Those 1-bed, 2-bed condos, townhomes, things like that, 10% year-over-year reduction in the asking rent. They still haven't even rented for that price. That's just what landlords are asking. Now here's the kicker to all of this. This doesn't take into consideration move-in specials, because 12 months ago, our market wasn't really doing move-in specials. So when we were talking about rental rates, the rental rate was the rental rate. In addition to the rents going down 10%, we are seeing, because I did a Google search yesterday, the biggest one I could find was a move-in special of up to 10 weeks free rent. And this is not on like crummy properties. This is 10 weeks free rent on nice, brand new construction, multifamily properties. I did a screenshot of it because I figured some people may not believe me. Here's a screenshot, and up at the top I circled there, it says free rent. Now offering up to 8 weeks free. This was just one of the many I saw. Up to 8 weeks free, plus receive an additional $1,000 off your move-in expenses if you apply today, and of course conditions apply. This is happening all over the place. So we have to understand the market is trending down. Now, if you're a real estate investor, or if you're thinking of renting out your house, you think, okay, well, that's interesting, but the first thing I need to decide is how much I'm going to rent my house for. And then the first thing you do naturally is this. You think, well, my mortgage payment is $2,000 a month, and I got taxes and insurance, so I need to rent it for at least $2,100 a month. And so that's how I will determine how much I need to rent out my house. And I say this with all due respect to you if you're a real estate investor or a homeowner thinking of renting out their house, but the market doesn't really price in, it doesn't care how much your mortgage payment is. If it's $2,000 a month or if it's zero because you have your property paid for, you're still going to get the same rental rate. So there's no correlation between what your mortgage payment is and what the rental rate is. I certainly understand as a real estate investor that you want to rent it out to cover your mortgage, and hopefully you can, but there's no correlation. I think that's just an important thing that when we hear it, we think about that, but when we're in the moment, it's hard to understand. So that's step one, understand the market. Number two, the property has to show well. This is more important than ever because there's an abundance of supply, so many homes available for rent, and there's not a whole lot of demand. So therefore, your property has to stand out. It has to show well. The carpets have to be very, very clean, if not new. The paint on the walls has to be fresh. Everything has to sparkle and be sparkly clean. Those types of things have to be there. It has to be updated. The light fixtures should be fresh and updated. The blinds can't be old. They can't be dusty. Properties have to show extraordinarily well because if they don't, they're not going to get rented because there's too much competition of other properties that do show well. Number three, the marketing must be comprehensive. Now that's where a company like us comes into play because we're going to market your property. We're going to put professional photos up and videos up, and we're going to do paid advertising, and we're going to touch our avenues and our marketing. That's where you want to make sure that your marketing gets it out there onto everybody who's potentially looking, with the goal being that if someone's looking to find a property for rent, if it's yours or if it's ours, they're going to find it. So we want to make sure the marketing is tight. And number four, consider offering move-in incentives. The last data I saw in the Denver market was at least 40% of all properties listed for rent had some type of a move-in incentive offered. We expect to see this increase as we close out 2024 and move into 2025. We think move-in incentives are going to go up to the point that you'll see most properties listed for rent offering some type of a move-in incentive. And I don't mean a $25 off your first month's rent. We mean things like we saw a moment ago, which is weeks and weeks of free rent or thousands of dollars of move-in incentives. You've got to draw and attract individuals who are interested because you're competing against those properties that are offering 8 weeks free. And last, number five, you need to be appropriately aggressive in the rental rate that you're advertising. What you got a year ago or a year and a half ago doesn't matter. Many segments of the Denver rental market have declined dramatically, like the condos, townhomes we looked at there. So if you had a property that's a condo townhome, your asking rent might be 10% less than it was a year ago on that 1 or 2 bedroom or studio condo. That's just the reality of that market. And so you just have to be very, very aware of that and be appropriately aggressive in the rental rate and in what you drop that way. And 2 final points. The market is slowing. What we don't recommend you do is try to wait out the market. We're recording this video right now in October, and we're approaching the slowest season of the rental demand market, which is November, December, January. People don't like to move around those periods of time, but don't wait it out. Because what we think is going to happen, and we've been through this cycle, this is literally almost our 50th year in business. We've been doing this a long time. We've seen that this is a cycle that is slowing, and it's a continuation of a slowing cycle. So it's not we'll wait till February and the market will pick back up. It'll pick back up a little bit, but not like it has in years past, because the overall market is slowing. It's rebounding. We were coming out of literally a decade of double-digit rent increases. We've been overheated, and the market is simply coming back to equilibrium. But to do that, it's going to slow down a little bit more just to get back to a baseline. So please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying the sky is falling. This is not I don't want to over-exaggerate these things, but the market is slowing. And as a real estate investor, you need to be aware of that. And secondly, the market is very, very segmented, much more so than we've seen it in probably the last 15 years, meaning some segments of the market, single-family homes in the suburbs, there's still fair demand. Those are renting pretty well. Other segments of the market, one-bedroom condos in certain parts of Denver, are dropping 10%, and that's just the beginning. There's no demand for those types of properties. So if you own a type of property where demand is slowing and continuing to decline, what you may want to consider doing is selling that property and flipping it or converting it into an investment property that is in higher demand. If you've got specific questions on that, or if your property is one of those property types that maybe you should consider converting it, call our office. We'll be happy to give you an assessment, even do a risk assessment for you to say, gosh, this is a high risk property based upon the age, based upon the location, based upon all those factors, and our recommendation would be to keep it, or our recommendation would be to move that into another type of property. We're happy to do that for you. Jump on our website at rentgrace.com. But whether we work with you or not, just know that the market is continuing to slow. If you're a current client of Grace Property Management, we do these things for you. We will make sure that if your property turns over, we price your property appropriately. We're offering appropriate move-in incentives if necessary. The property shows very well. The marketing is in place. Jump on our website, rentgrace.com, and I wish you success. All right, what'd you think? That's me talking to current owners, prospective owner clients. That's one of those educational videos that I talk to you about the fact that you should be doing, that we send out and blast out on a monthly basis that way. So before I give you kind of 2 recommendations on how to capitalize on it, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, to you, Rentfinder.ai. We're talking about how to accurately price your rental properties. Well, you know the best tool to use for that? Rentfinder. Go onto their website as soon as this video is over. Go into Rentfinder.ai, and they will give you rental analysis forms using real-time data. It's editable. You can white label it. It's clickable, like live clicks to view other properties. It'll blow your mind. There's nothing else like this on the market. It gives you real-time data so that you can show your prospective owner clients, like, this thing rented for $2,500 a year ago. How come it won't rent for $2,500 now? Show them this report, white labeled with your information, that says, no, actually the rent is only $300 a month right now. That's the market we're in. Jump on there, tell them Mark sent you, get the demo. You can sign up for free reports on there. Jump on there and do that. Okay, so 2 action items that I want you to take with. Number 1, you need to explain this to your owner clients in 2 ways. Number 1, on your year-end owner letter. Are you working on your year-end owner letter yet? I hope so. Get that out there, and your year-end owner letter is going to talk about what's going on in the market. You're going to talk about that demand is decreasing. You're going to talk about the rents are flat or declining. You got to explain it that way. By the way, if you're a member of our video coaching group, as soon as we complete our year-end owner letter, I will send it out to you. If you're not a member of that, jump in board, join us. We'll get that out to you when we get it completed. And secondly, inform your owner clients in the letter you're giving them when you receive notice from your tenant that they're going to be moving. So tenant says, hey, I'm moving. You should have a formatted letter that goes out to your owner clients that says, hey, your tenant has told us they're moving. Here's some information you should be aware of. And you're going to talk about how you're going to do the deposit return, you'll do the turnover, and then you're going to talk about current market trends. We also want you to be aware that the market has slowed down, and here's what you could expect to see. You've got to set expectations. You've got to educate your owner clients on that stuff. Hey, one other thing to be aware of, we're doing our final Visit Grace event of the year, which is an opportunity for property managers to come out to my office in Denver, spend 2 days with me and my team as I do small group training on how to run the business of a property management business. Not how to rent properties, but how do you run your business? And we've had so much demand for that, we're going to open up a couple more slots. So I don't know if they'll still be open or not, but when you watch this, if you're interested, go to our website, pmbuild.com, go to the events tab, look at the Visit Grace, and until we fill that up, you can sign up right there. I would love to have you come out to my office in December, spend 2 days with me in this type of training. I promise it will be of value. Look at the other things people have said out there. But check out our podcast, jump on the website. Hope that helps. Until next time, my friends, as always, I wish you success.